Catch 5 bug-type Pokemon. Let me know if you found this quest yet, because this is only the second time I've ever seen this. Ridiculously rare, and the last Nincada I got was horrible IVs. In fact, every Shedinja that I've gotten from the research breakthrough has been horrible IVs. And there's a bug right here, so we'll be completing this throughout the course of the video. Starting off with this Wurmple, 285 CP. Gonna nail that with the Great Throw, and this should be easy. Boom! Now let's catch 4 bug-type Pokemon. So as you should all know by now, the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee release is now fully underway. I got my Switch, I got my copy of Let's Go Pikachu, if you guys can see it for the camera, and also I picked up the, there we go, also I picked up the Pokeball Plus. Now, this is the most general tool that we have received as Pokemon Go players, and I feel like this has the highest relation to people that frequently play Pokemon Go, much like myself, which is why I felt it was really important to not only pick this up, but to test this out in a real-life Pokemon Go situation. So we're here at Red Bank Park, which is my premier hotspot for Pokemon Go grinding and for rare spawns. I guess this is going to be like the very first, I guess you can't see it because of the sun glare, but I guess this is going to be like my very first ever unboxing on the channel. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Pokeball Plus, and I'm going to test it out, and we're going to go through a couple of laps throughout the park, and I'm only going to use the Pokeball Plus, and we're going to see how my experience is. Is it better than the Go Plus, or is it worse than the Go Plus? We'll see. I don't know what to expect, but I'm very excited to see what happens here. Once my battery is dead, I'm probably just going to end it and just head home and start editing this video, make this a short little review of the Pokeball Plus. Let's see what's up. Alright, so I now have the box ready to be opened, and this is what the Pokeball Plus is going to look like. So this is the charging unit for the Pokeball Plus, but that's not the moral of the story here. Also, there is the guidebook, and I'm assuming I'm going to need to read plenty of this just to just figure out how this thing is going to work. And as I anticipated, this is a lot smaller. Also, we are outside and the wind is blowing, so I have to keep that secure somehow. And as I anticipated, this is a lot smaller than, oh, well, there goes that. This is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, so just have to keep that in mind. But this can be used as a controller for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and you can kind of press this in, and we're going to deal with the connectivity of the Pokeball Plus right about now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try my best to connect this via Bluetooth. I do have my Bluetooth activated, and I'm going to go to the settings on my Pokemon Go app, and we're going to see if I can connect this right here, right now. So, upon first glance, I'd say, it is painted, so I'm assuming this can be marked off, so you have to be careful with how you treat this, and if you don't want it to be damaged in any way, shape, or form, something you have to keep in mind. Let's see if I can sync this. So I'm gonna go, Pokeball Plus. Does it pick it up? It does. Enable. Success. Okay. Alright, so one thing I always love about Red Bank, the spawns are super lit all the time. We're getting ourselves a 333 CP Larvitar, and I'm gonna try to catch this with my gloves. Gloves have to stay on. It's freaking freezing out here. It snowed yesterday, so it is super cold out here. And we managed to get the Larvitar on the first throw. So what I've been doing thus far, if I can get out of this catch screen. Okay, so what I've been doing thus far in terms of the Pokeball Plus is I set it to spin stops only, so I've been walking around the park spinning stops because I had no Pokeballs. So I'm gonna take a couple laps around the park, I'm gonna get 100 balls, and then I'm gonna turn it back on to catch Pokemon. So what it does is, instead of the Go Plus, what the Go Plus does for Pokestops in particular, the Go Plus will be a blue light, and then you have to press it, and then it will spin the stop. The Pokeball Plus, mind you, actually spins Pokestops automatically. So I feel like that's an advantage. I'm gonna give a 1-up to the Pokeball Plus for that. In my opinion, like, if you have it set to just spin Pokestops, I don't think it's necessary for you to have to wait to press the button to spin the Pokestop, so I feel like that's an advantage there. Soon I'm gonna set it to catch Pokemon. So what I realized is, what I didn't understand was, you don't catch Pokemon with the little button right here. You actually catch Pokemon by tapping. There's a small little circle, it's like imprinted in the Pokeball Plus, but you tap the top of the Pokeball and that catches Pokemon. This doesn't catch Pokemon. I'm assuming this is like the button for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So this is like more of a Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee function, and the top of the Pokeball Plus right here, this is a Pokemon Go function. In fact, it is a responsive button, but it's kind of hidden. Like, you wouldn't know unless you kind of tooled around with it and figured it out. So I had to figure that out for like the first hour, but I managed to figure that out. So again, I'm gonna walk around, I'm gonna get 100 balls, and then I'm gonna turn this on to catch Pokemon, and we'll see how responsive it is when it comes to, what it's supposed to do. Alright, so shout out to your boy Reversal. We got ourselves a windy, what the heck? For some reason it turned on AR Plus. I don't quite understand that. But we got ourselves a windy weather boosted 1700 CP giraffe rig, and this thing is just extremely rare. I'm gonna have some trouble catching it too, and alright, I nailed a nice throw. Again, I do have like these crappy touchscreen gloves on, so they need to like improve the touchscreen technology on these gloves, because it's really horrible. It honestly is horrible. Okay, so I had a raspberry and a great ball on this, and it popped out. So now we are in trouble. We're in trouble because I have gloves on. I can barely... I almost dropped my phone. So I have gloves on because I can't play without gloves. It's way too cold for me to play without gloves right now. I can barely throw. So yeah, we're in trouble. Okay, so working on this 496 CP weather boosted, windy weather boosted by the way, Scyther. And I got the amount of Pokeballs that I wanted to test this thing, really give it a shot, give it a run. And I'm gonna walk around the park now. There's a huge cluster spawn at the very end of the park, and there's a couple clusters right around here. And we're gonna see what happens here. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on catch Pokemon. That's my friends list. Let's see, Pokeball Plus. Alright, so not only is it going to spin Pokestops, it's going to be catching Pokemon. And just for an example, all you gotta do is click the top button of this Pokeball right here, and it's going to attempt at least to catch all the Pokemon that it sees in its range. So right now it's got the Hoppip in its range, so we're going to slightly tap the button in the middle right on top. It failed to catch the Hoppip. Let's see if it can catch the Tauros. Also, it just spun that Pokestop. So it functions really, really well. Like, the functionality is almost flawless. It is ridiculously good in terms of functionality. Now, sometimes it does miss spawns. Sometimes spawns, of course, they run away. It acts just like a Go Plus. It throws one Pokeball, boom. If it catches it, it catches it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So let's go for a run. Now, there's a couple of things I want to test out. For example, when I'm in a really intense grind with a lot of spawns, the Go Plus often fails me, so sometimes it won't pick up any more spawns, and I just end up continuously manually catching. And sometimes that's a little bit time consuming. Sometimes I wish the Go Plus could help me catch some of those spawns that I'm manually catching. Let's see if the Pokeball Plus, potentially the upgrade to the Go Plus, can do a little bit of a better job in that perspective. So let's get into it. Okay, well that'll just about do it for my initial response and review of the Pokeball Plus. And I said I would keep things short and sweet so I can get this edited, so I can get out there and play some Let's Go. And honestly, I am very, very impressed with this Pokeball Plus device. I liked it. I like my experience out there with it. With that said, there is a certain target audience that I feel like this Pokeball Plus is perfect for. So at this point, since there is the Pokeball Plus and there is the Go Plus, I feel like the Go Plus is more economy, something that is small, something that you can take with you anywhere, you can put anywhere. Like for instance, I can't put this anywhere, but you want something that just gets the job done and plays the game for you without much hassle, and this basically does the bare minimum and, you know, catches Pokemon for you, spins Pokestops, gets the job done. That's the Go Plus, and if that's what you're looking for and that's what suits your lifestyle, then by all means, stick with the Go Plus or go get the Go Plus. But if you're looking for a more submersive and realistic Pokemon experience, a more pure Pokemon Go experience, then the Pokeball Plus is the way to go. Without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen. This thing, I felt like a real Pokemon trainer today. Even though it was cold, it was windy, the weather was horrible, but I felt like a real Pokemon trainer, and I damn sure loved that. So, again, I'm gonna give the Pokeball Plus 4 out of 5 stars. There was an instance where I was grinding a cluster of Pokemon down at the end shore area of the park, and it was pretty responsive when it comes to picking up a Pokemon after going into manual. So I'll go into manual and I'll catch a couple of Pokemon, and then I'll just keep walking, and I'm gonna rely on the Pokeball Plus to pick it back up again and start, you know, automatically catching Pokemon. It didn't do that at first, but all I had to do was tap the top of the Pokeball, which is actually the functionality that catches Pokemon. This is the joystick. I'm assuming this is just for Let's Go, the joystick right here, and the button. This is a button, but this button doesn't catch Pokemon. There's a button on top of this Pokeball. Maybe you can see it, but there's a button on top right here. This is what catches Pokemon, not this. I'm not sure what this functionality exactly does. I'll find out when I play Let's Go later on today, but this is what catches... Oh, it's catching Pokemon, but this is what catches Pokemon right here, this button over top. And took a couple minutes for it to resync, but it did resync accordingly, and it adjusted quite quickly. So I am pretty satisfied with this thing overall. 4 out of 5 stars. The functionality is damn near flawless, really good functionality, very responsive, and of course functions just like a Go Plus, which, you know, brings up the argument, like, do you really need it? No. You can pick up the Go Plus if you want, if that suits your lifestyle a little bit better. I have the option of both now. But again, when I'm at the airport traveling, when I'm dealing with this camera and my 2 bags plus this ain't gonna work. I'm gonna have to deal with this with a more like grinding type of situation. It all depends on your scenario. The Go Plus is going to be a lot better in a lot of different situations, but the fact that this thing spins Pokestops like a gotcha, which is automatic, and catches Pokemon with the tap of this button on top, I think that is awesome. I think that is the seller. I think that's what sells this Pokeball Plus mechanism. So I highly recommend this for any Pokemon Go player, especially if you want, again, a more submersive, a more realistic Pokemon experience. If you want that real Pokemon experience, get the Pokeball Plus. You will not regret it either way. All right, but that's gonna do it for my review. 4 out of 5 stars. Functionality is great, provides a realistic Pokemon experience. DX1 signing out. I'm gonna go play some Let's Go. I will see you guys in the next presentation.